here's the thing. How I walk it through with parents. I explain to parents that so often it's like they have tunnel vision because they're only focused on the tantrum right there in the moment in that public setting. But my job is to help us zoom out a little bit and see the big whole picture. One of the first questions I ask is, what are we doing 30 minutes before we go to this public space? What are we doing 60 minutes before we go to this public space? Especially if it's a setting like a restaurant where we know we have to be relatively quiet, pretty still for a long period of time, sometimes like 2 hours if it's a big family gathering, right? At a restaurant. So we really need to think of this from a brain and body perspective. How do we prepare their brain? And super importantly, we often forget about this, their body, so that they can settle and get to a place of calm, stillness, and ease once we get there. Okay, so we do this by thinking ahead 30 to 60 minutes before. For more intense kids, it's going to be 60 plus minutes. For maybe easier kids at this point with an easier temperament, it's going to be 30 minutes. So we really need to understand their body movement needs. Now, what is this? Most parents have no idea what I'm talking about when I say this. Okay. But my work with my private clients is we work together to see, okay, does your child need deep input? Do they need pressure? Do they need movement? Do they need jumping? Do they need bouncing? Do they need rolling? What kind of input or movement is going to fill up their cup? Because we all have a sensory system, okay? And it ties into our movement system, which ties into our regulation or how we feel calm. And if we can figure out what is going to fill up that child's cup so that their body feels easy and calm going into these public settings, it changes everything. It really changes the whole game. And I've seen this play out successfully with so many families, and it's really cool to see. I've heard from other parent coaches, it's like, well, that's like being a gentle parent. That's not like they should just sit in the high chair at the restaurant. And when I say it's time to sit for 2 hours, or they should just listen and be still at the family gathering when I say it's time to be still because they should listen to me. And if it worked like that for every kid, like, don't you think all the parents would be doing that? Like, if it was that simple? The thing is, with some kids, it's not that simple because we all have different brain and body systems. And for some kids, their body system, it's almost like they have a really big cup, and we need to fill up that cup for them to then feel calm and settled. Other kids, occupational therapists talk about this all the time. Other kids have a smaller cup. Their occupational therapists, by the way, are like pediatric occupational therapists, focus on movement and the body in kids. So they use this analogy all the time, and I think it's really helpful. So some kids have big cups, they need a ton of input, a ton of movement, and then they feel calm. Other kids have smaller cups, they just need a little bit and they feel fine. Like they just need to like maybe run around for 5 minutes and then they can sit at the restaurant for 2 hours and they're fine. Other kids' systems are not like that. Like just like every car engine runs differently, every body system in kids runs differently. And that's why we need to read them, read their body cues and figure out what do they need to then prevent these public meltdowns. I'm going to give like a real life example. For me, I know in myself, my cup is small. I can only handle like a little bit of input and then I am like done. So for example, like me and my husband, we lived in New York City in our 20s. So we would go to these big dance parties and DJ sets. We love dancing. My husband loves to dance. His cup is really big. So he could stay there for hours dancing because he loves to dance and he loves music. So he could stay there for hours, like all night. For me, after like 30, 45 minutes of that big loud music and dancing, it's like I am exhausted. My system can't take anymore. My brain and body system is like, this was so much input. My cup is full. I don't want any more. Like I could just sit and chill for the rest of the night, like at home. Like I don't need anything else. And it's the same thing with kids. Okay, they need they have different body system needs, and the sooner we can read them and understand their different body system needs, the quicker we can help them fulfill it and get to that calm that can last hours, even in a public setting. So, I'm going to explain exactly what I would do proactively to get their body and brain system to calm. But first, I want to tell you about my Tantrums to Talking one on one program. If you have been struggling with daily behaviors, not listening, challenges with cooperation, following along, meltdowns, tantrums, any type of behaviors, the one-to-one tantrums to talking program could be perfect for you and your family. It's a program where I handhold you through 3 months and I show you exactly how to implement these techniques, these calm down techniques for like public settings, in the home, how to co-regulate with your child and build lifelong skills like regulation, cooperation, communication, so that these meltdowns and tantrums aren't feeling like they're taking up your everyday, and you feel so much less overwhelmed, overstimulated, and you feel much more easier, calm, stress free. I have the link to apply to this program down below. And you can also set up a totally complimentary call with me to see if we're the right fit together. So, to proactively get them to a space where their body feels super calm, here's what we do. And I want you to think of it in these terms. Think about it after you work out or go to the gym, okay? Afterwards, you feel so much less stressed. You feel lighter, clear headed. You're probably not as snappy. You just feel better. There's like endorphins flowing. I think we can all relate to this feeling, right? Like, I haven't been to the gym in a while and I'm starting to feel like I can feel myself feeling cranky, right? Now, this is to an even greater extent with toddlers and young children, ages 1 to 6, because they really learn through their body. And if they are not feeling good in their body, there's going to be a big response. So, we want to really think about this, like, think about how we feel after a workout or the gym, and then like times it by 10. That's the effect on our little one. So that's why we really want to focus on our body, on their body. So we want to do at least minimum. Okay. Some kids, a lot of kids actually are going to need more than this, but I would say minimum 20 minutes of movement. And I'm not just talking about letting them run wild. I mean, that's fine for like certain things, but if we want to like a really structured step-by-step approach to preventing public tantrums, we can let them run wild, but then we still want 20 minutes of our structured body input because it's giving them specific input that their body needs to calm down and to fill up that cup that we talked about earlier. And letting them just like run wild for 20 minutes, it's almost like itching that spot of one body system, but not, it's neglecting other body systems that also need to be scratched, if you will, okay, that also need to be addressed. So what I would do is I would start with really activating movement, okay? And I really recommend you do this with them because it's more fun. It can be silly. There can be some music playing. So it depends on the child's body system, but it could be big jumps, big bounces, um, big, just like really, really activating the big muscle groups in their body. And there's so many activities we can do that's age appropriate for every single year, ages 1 to 5. Then, after about, I would say at minimum 15 minutes of this activating big muscle groups, cardio, almost like a little baby cardio workout in a way, then we're going to really ground them with more grounding techniques by doing things like pulling, pushing, pulling, rolling, giving deep pressure, deep input, deep jumps, um, rolling over a peanut ball. This will really help their body ground and settle. And at that point, we're turning the music down or off or moving slower. So it's going from active, super active, to the much more grounding input and focusing on the different body systems so that all those parts, have been covered, and then they're just going to feel like, okay, time to chill, which is what we want when we need to sit in a restaurant for 2 hours. The other big piece that I see is missed a lot of the time, when parents come to me being like the public meltdowns are just too much, is that we want to give their little brain and their little hands something to do during these long stretches, whether it's grandma's birthday or, the restaurant setting, whatever it is. We want to give them something to do. So, toddlers love art, for example, and there's so many like I see this on TikTok a lot, but there's so many like little different art pieces that we can do that can occupy their brain and body. That's no mess specifically. So it's like really cool. It's almost like I've seen ones where it's like they're painting, but then it's not actually paint and it like wipes off. I don't know. It's amazing. It's literally zero mess. So art is a huge one. I used to run these toddler groups and saw so many toddlers. Like we ran it for years, and I have not met a single toddler, no matter what, stage of development they're in, that didn't love art. So anything art, like toddler age appropriate art wise, highly recommend. And then I would also understand your child's, again, sensory system and bring some sensory toys or sensory objects. Like understand what like textures or input do they really like? Do they like to pull things or push it together or squeeze, or are they like something lighter like tags? Some kids really like to play with tags, or there's just so many different like sensory things you could do to really occupy them. And going back to the art thing, the other thing I like about art is that it's long. It takes a long time and they're very focused on it. So that's just like an easy way, for example, at a restaurant to make things a lot easier and chill and calm. So to sum it up, step one, we want to make sure we're addressing all their little body systems before, you know, going into the setting, going into a more intense setting where they need to be still. Number two, giving them something that matches their stage of development, in terms of toddler art or in terms of sensory input that they really like. And then this helps so much with, public, more intense settings. So if you're struggling with tantrums and meltdowns or big behaviors every single day, I really think that the Tantrums to Talking program might be a perfect fit for you and your family, because we really customize a plan for you and you're working one to one with me. And I'm telling you step by step exactly what to do to get to calm regulations so your day can be so much more stress free. And also, if this video was helpful or if you want a different topic, comment below and I will try to, make a video that covers that topic. It's really helpful for me to hear that feedback and hear what's on your mind or what you're having challenges with. So thanks so much and see you in the next video.